This video is sponsored by my favorite website creator, Squarespace, the best place to go when you want to get a domain or create a gorgeous website or an online store. So again, another very strange year has passed and it's time to take stock. I've made a list of lessons I've learned in the last year that I wish I knew in my 20s. Here we go. Okay, here's a strange one. When I find something that's really truly a distraction, I used to think it was a bad thing, but I've changed my mind. A thing that highly distracts you, that's worth its weight in gold. Because sometimes what you need, especially if you're feeling anxious about the world or worry about life or someone you love, you can easily use a bit of escapism. Or if I work too hard during the day, it can be really hard to shut down that brain and my thoughts just keep on spinning. Who can relate? So having a go-to distraction, something so juicy and easy and absorbing that it sort of short circuits worried thoughts or an overactive brain, that stuff is underrated as hell. For me, it's usually well-produced reality TV like Terrace House or Grand Designs. What about you? Do you have a go-to distraction that always works? Okay, let's talk about sleeping. I've always loved to go to bed at night. What a luxury it is to, have 8 hours ahead of you of pure cozy laziness before you have to get up again. One thing I wish I knew in my 20s though, there's sleep and then there's sleep. Listen to this. For the last, maybe 4 or 5 years, David and I have been sleeping on a memory foam mattress with the softest possible memory foam topper on top. Double memory foam. And every time I lay down on that baby, my body just moans with happiness. Ever since we got it, now when we go on a trip and sleep on some other bed, I really truly realize how much all other mattresses suck. So if you're buying a new mattress or topper anytime soon, especially if you have a sensitive back, trust me on the memory foam. Okay, speaking of ways to rest our brains, I feel like most of us have developed our own personal brand of meditation. For me, it's reading. It gets my brain vibrating in the nicest possible vibration. But here's a thing I realized that I wish I knew earlier. Since reading relaxes me so much, I'm also in a much more sensitive and unproductive state of mind, if that makes sense. So if I read something that's very cynical or harsh or too dark, it seeps in and kind of makes me feel really bad. And I do feel like most contemporary literary fiction, which is what I read most of, often has a big chunk of cynicism. I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all, I'm only saying that I've learned about myself that I'm often too sensitive for very cynical or dark things, and that I should be a bit careful when I read books that aren't warm and compassionate. And the same goes for TV and films and music too, really. Do you know what I mean? Are you the same? Here's a follow-up life lesson on the previous one. I feel like when we make choices, we're either going for things that add drama or things that will add calm, and it says quite a lot about who we are as people and what our current situation is, just looking at what type of decisions we make. For me personally, I'm always choosing calm. For years now, I only listen to calm music, go for drama-free reality TV, read beautiful books slowly, stay away from horror films and people or activities who add a lot of adrenaline. To me, that says that I'm overwhelmed enough by work and life that I don't need to add more drama. But I know that other periods of my life, when I was bored and understimulated, I went looking for more excitement rather than calm. So I guess for me at least, it's a good barometer to determine whether I'm bored or slightly overwhelmed. I asked David if he had any life lessons to share and he immediately went invest early. We work full-time as content creators, and that means for us, just like with a lot of creative jobs, we will have to save up for our own retirement by ourselves. So low risk investing money as soon as you start earning it and then just letting it sit there and grow over the years, that's David's idea of money well spent or saved. Speaking of careers, if you're anything like me, you'll change your mind many times and change directions more often than what's wise. Now, I do think I actually did know this about myself already at 20. I've always been a hectic, impatient, overly curious person with too much of an appetite. What can I say? It's a great way to live. These last couple of years, I've really been trying hard not to dismiss or judge people. Like in my early 20s, before starting out on YouTube, I was much quicker in just writing people's opinions off. But now, myself being judged by so many people every day and realizing that something that I find to be completely reasonable and friendly, someone else can find really offensive or stupid. It's just taught me that life is nicer when we try to understand that we all come from very different spaces, and we should be a bit more humble and curious when disagreeing with people. One thing I've learned is how much better my brain is in the morning. First thing, just brewing some tea and getting to work. After lunch, my brain is a fool compared to the clever little sucker it is in the morning. So all the most important work, the stuff that needs that deep focus, I do that first thing. What about you? I know some people love the afternoons and some are midnight geniuses. Whatever works, sis. Another thing I wish I learned a long time ago is to be okay with being worried, but to never listen to what anxiety tells you to do. You know what I mean? When you get anxious, you'll almost always get these hyper ideas on how to fix things, like let's run from the situation, or quit our jobs, or call that person up to have a heart-to-heart right now. It's like the decisions I've made when listening to my worry, they don't tend to be the best ones. So nowadays, I just sit tight and listen to the worry, but I never ever make any decisions until those frantic emotions have mellowed out. Finally, here's a life lesson if there ever was one. Energy bars are highly addictive, and it is possible to eat very many of them in one go. And it's impossible to not eat them if you have them at home. God, the lemon drizzle one, Christ, that's good. So I'm gonna have to cold turkey the energy bars. Thank God for granola. Also highly addictive though. If you want to give me a little birthday present, I'd love for you to check out our home tour channel. You know how much David and I love interior design and beautiful buildings. I mean, we religiously watch all 4 grand designs: UK, Sweden, Australia, New Zealand. Who else loves that show? We really want this channel to grow and become one of our main projects, so go take a look and tell your friends and your dad and your dog too. Do you want to create a beautiful site, maybe start your own fashion blog? If so, you should definitely do it with Squarespace. They have great blogging tools to share your stories, photos and videos to make it easy to reach your audience. You can also auto-post your content to Twitter, Facebook or Tumblr, and simply schedule your posts for them to be properly tagged, and the descriptions and titles will show up correctly. You can of course add your social media accounts to your site so it's easy for your readers to find you everywhere. Squarespace also has great traffic analytics so that you can see how many people are visiting your site, how long they're staying for, where they're coming from and what they're interested in, like fashion, food, or maybe interior design, for example. So what are you waiting for? Go get your free trial today at squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/JennyMustard to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's it for me. Time to go celebrate champagne and strawberries, but not a single energy bar. That's the plan. Love you guys, puss puss, and grattis på födelsedagen till me!